Welcome to High Oracles Reiki Spiritual Healing Channel. And I wanted to talk to you about balancing your energy because a lot of people seem to, have it mistaken that balancing your energy, it is, about meditation. That is a part of it. But balancing your energy is about balancing the good side of you versus the bad side. In my opinion, and this is, how I was trained at the time when I was younger, to balance my good and bad meant that you can use your bad side for something good. So even if you have engaged in something that is, not good, not recommended, then you can always correct that by engaging in something good. So you have to be able to balance your good and bad side. When you're balancing your good and bad side, that means sometimes telling a person that, I love you, but you're just no good for me. You're not going anywhere in life. You're not trying to do anything with yourself. Those people who try to, use your emotions against you and say, I just haven't been good for anyone. I'm just not good. I don't know how to be good. I'm going to mess up the relationship. Those are the types of times that you'll have to balance your emotions. You'll have to balance your good and bad side as well. Okay. So, as indigenous people, we call it feeding your good and your bad wolf. You want to make sure that you feed your good wolf more than you feed your bad wolf. So I wanted to, give you these examples so that you understand that you have to be able to balance your energy. And sometimes that type of energy, you can't give that type of energy out because it's explosive. It's toxic. I worked in places where there were people who were negative that would come to work. And it seems like everybody in the job at that time, they would become negative. The air would change. The oppressive spirit would appear, in the workplace. And, I would, pull people aside. I have always been good for pulling people aside and saying, first of all, if you have a problem, then if you need some time to go and sit and sort through your emotions, do not come in here like that with that bad behavior that you don't want to be here. Because if you don't want to be here, I don't want you to be here either. I'll see you. Okay, so this is how we do that. But we have to make sure that we're feeding our good and bad wolf, even when we're being sarcastic to people. So you want to balance your energy, and in many cases you can use a spiritual method in order to balance your energy. A spiritual method, includes meditation. And when you're meditating, you want to make sure that, you're lowering that part of you that gets angry really quick. Do not get angry. Do not get angry. We understand that, there are going to be some people that push your buttons. But we have to also make sure that we understand that we can walk away from situations. I prefer not to go back and forth with people. I prefer to show you better than I can tell you. So, I always feed my good wolf, and I feed my bad wolf very little. He's starved out. That's what we want to do. But we want to make sure that, that fire, we have a way to direct that anger and aggression, and it's directed in a good way, a beneficial way. So you when you're lowering that bad wolf, and you're seeing where you want to direct your anger, what you want to direct it towards. For me, I directed at the housing laws, and that's just for me. And a lot of people who like to complain about things instead of seeing what we can do about it, coming together with people who are like-minded. And I understood when I entered into that realm, there were going to be a lot of people who were afraid. There were going to be a lot of people who decide to just let their situation run wild with them. They want to just stand up at the front, in the front lobby, and curse and fuss. And that's how you also tell narcissists, especially when they get older like that. Then you can tell that they are narcissists, because all they want to do is argue, and they want that back and forth, so that they can thrive off of that energy. So when you're the type of person like I am, I'm just going to tell you, okay, this is the problem. How can we fix it? Okay. And so when I get a lot of excuses, once I start getting a lot of excuses, a lot of things is not going right. Especially I'm hearing that I could potentially hurt myself. It's hazardous. Then I'm going to start making moves. I'm going to start, saying, writing letters. I'm going to start, pitching my grievances to the main office, to whoever, to the court, so that they know that I'm in opposition to what's going on, and I'm going to do something about it. So this is how I am. A lot of people do not know how to balance that good wolf, that bad wolf. We have to be able to balance that aggression, but we also have to know when it's time out for backing off. It's time to stand up and fight. It's time to stand up and do a petition to call for the removal of these people. It's time to stand up. Okay, so we have to know how to balance our energy. And it does have something to do with meditation, lowering that type of aggression in you using meditation. But it has a lot to do with balancing your good and your evil that's in you. No one is perfect. Everyone has a good and an evil side. And we have to know how to balance that type of energy, so that we can direct that at the people, those narcissists who deserve this type of energy, who deserve this type of understanding, whom God is directing us to give that negative energy, that buildup that we'll have as chosen ones. Okay, so we'll have that buildup. We don't want to give it and let that fly on somebody that doesn't know, a child, somebody that's just learning, our parents. We don't want to let that fly on, our husbands or our wives. We want to be able, this is what I teach my clients. We want to, make sure that we understand those types of narcissists that run from the truth, that run from accountability, and we want to make sure that they've been in that way, and we can feel that negative energy coming from them, and we want to mirror that type of bad wolf at those type of people in order to do good. So we do good. We're some good people. I know I can understand. I talk to a lot of you. I talk to a lot of my followers. I talk to a lot of my clients. You're some good people. A lot of you are after my own heart. And I really appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you for reaching out to me. But we want to be able to direct that negative energy, that buildup that we have. We want to be able to let that go at those entities, those people who have those attachments, those people who are obsessed with us, those people who are stalkers, those people who are targeting us in the court, those police officials. And what better time to do that than now? This is the moment that we need, where they are distracted, with other agendas, and this is how I was able to balance my good and my bad. I was able to balance my energy. I waited until, once I did that petition, and then they come calling me. Well, what do you want, High Oracle? What can we do? I want the building to stop flooding. That's what I want. I want, to be able to use the elevators on the weekends without them breaking down. Why is it that there's no one here for maintenance on the weekend? There's, and I use my bad just to heckle them, just to, ride their behind in order to make it right for everyone. So this is how I wanted to give you this. This is how we make it right. This is how we balance our energy. And, we this is especially for our men folks. This is for our men folks. And I'm going to do a video on our men, because a lot of our men do not know how to balance their energy, and they let it out on the wrong people in their homes, in their lives, when that could be better served with, tripping somebody up that deserves it, the narcissist, the toxic person, the demonic person that is, actually hurting people in society, hurting people in the family, hurting people on your job. So this is how we want to balance our energy. Again, there is a cleanse that I use for some of my clients to cleanse their hearts, because there can be a buildup of negative energy in the heart. Okay, and we've been talking about those attacks on the left side and why. And we want to make sure that we're able to balance this energy, cleanse this negative energy, and make sure that it's redirected, and we focus this energy to where it needs to be, so that, we're not running away from, these narcissists. We're standing up, we're telling them. And if necessary, we're going to have to put it in action, so that, they understand that we're not cowardice, and we're not in alignment with what they believe and the entity that they serve. So I hope that you receive this message. Please like, share, and subscribe to me over all of my platforms. You can book your one-on-one life coaching session or your video chat session. Book your consultation so you can get a meditation cleanse from me, acclimated to your situation. Also, donate to me. Like, share, and subscribe. Again, I'm High Oracle, Reiki spiritual healer. Assalamu alaikum.